welcome back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this right here. Well, folks, I want to talk about a couple of things in this video. I want to reply to a sub. I think his name is John's 23M. John's 23Ms. And I want to talk about what he said and how I feel about these guys not making this kind of money that we've been told. And I'm gonna tell you, it's just about how I feel. I'm not saying you should believe it. It's about what I think, what I feel, what I'm looking at. We've talked about this a million times. It is what it is. And then we're going to talk about Donald Trump. That's what I really want to talk about, and what's been going on in the whole situation, because he's starting out on a bad foot. Bad business deals that's not benefiting nobody. Now, when I say these guys don't make this kind of money, I'm not just going to tell you, oh man, I just don't believe these guys making this kind of money. And maybe you haven't heard it from any other sports channel. I mean, that's pretty deep. That's kind of like fraud if the NBA would do these type of things. But you have to understand before I break this down to why I've been saying I don't think they make this kind of money. They haven't showed it. There's nothing warranted for it. And if they are, they're stealing this money from the fans. But if that was to be true, that they're not making this kind of money, they could actually get away with it, because we don't actually know what's in the NBA's contract as far as a company, as far as entertainment. We just don't know, folks. We don't know what they really represent on the bottom line and how the companies really ran. But these actions by players in the NBA in general, it doesn't make any sense to where they're telling us they make this kind of money. And then their overall actions, the players, it doesn't make any sense what they're saying. So when I talk about this, I don't want you to believe it. I'm saying, well, you can believe it if you want, but I'm saying what their actions are doesn't say they make this kind of money. So my premise is these guys are supposedly be making hundreds of millions in 1, 2, 3 contract. I done seen dudes make, I don't know, going back to the damn 90s, make $200 million contracts, was making $100 million contracts. You know, we get into the 2000s, we get into the 2010s. Right now in the 2020s, these guys are making, depends who it is, hundreds of millions a year. I mean, in a contract, supposedly, and then go make another $100 million contract. You know, and then now it's up to, you know, you got these $200 million contracts and all this stuff. And then you got your guys who aren't real big stars, and they still made $100 million in their career. And then you got, it just goes on and on, folks. But it seems like role players, nobody, and they're getting paid $10 million a year, $20 million a year, something like that. With all that said, what happens when these guys retire, folks? They need a job. They need a job. For some reason, they forgot they made hundreds of millions and tens of millions of dollars. They're running to ESPN, fighting for a position in a job on these networks. They're running to Fox, and I'm not just trying to limit the NBA. I'm saying sports athletes in general. They have to podcast during the season. That's even crazier. Or they're podcasting when they retire, or the ones that have retired for a long time. They need money, folks. They need money. Why do they need money? Why do they need money? Let me pull this bacon out of here. And what I'm going to get from some people, they're going to say, what do you mean? Money is money. Why would they need money? Folks, some people, they can't think. Because, listen, folks, when you get into certain things and you put all your trust in these people that you don't know, you never know, and you put your trust into them because they're on TV, they're celebrities, they're this, they're that. It's going to hurt you to find out that these same people that you put all your trust into are lying right to your face. And that's how this world was built. This is how everything revolves around lies. That's the biggest reason why the world has been and continues to be the way it is, because everybody's they have this mentality to where they don't want to believe this stuff is fake because they don't want to get hurt, because they don't put all their trust in to the lie. And sometimes it benefits them, you know, and they're doing just good. But at the end of the day, it's not good, because there's going to be a downfall to it. And if it don't hurt you individually, it might hurt somebody in your family. It might hurt your friends, or it might hurt you in the long run, because a lie is a lie, folks. That's why everything always gets worse. It may seem like it's getting better, but it will always go back, because it's a lie. So yeah, people don't want to believe that they've been lied to. The liars know that. These things, race, religion, politics, they don't want to believe they've been lied to. That's all they have to hold on to. Because they don't know who they are, where they came from, where they're going. So they hang on to these things, folks. So like I was saying, these people, to me, and we're going to get more deeper into it, they have to get a job, folks. Those hundreds of millions and tens of millions just wasn't enough. They have to put on makeup, read from a script, travel, turn into these characters, because working 13, 14, 15 years ad nauseum, traveling, doing all, do you know all the effort you got to put into being a sports player? Training, all this stuff. It's a job, folks. It's a grind. And some of these guys been doing it since, I won't call it actual work, but they've been playing these sports since they was little. So one day you retire, and after 13, 14, 15 years, whatever, from doing this job, and you retire, and you no longer have to work after making tens of millions and hundreds of millions, folks. Your big day has came. And guess what? You have to go back to work. You have to go back to work. How ludicrous does that sound, folks? This would be like the equivalent of you finally retire from your job, and you got hundreds of thousands in the bank. So you see, because I can't say the money that they make, that kind of level, because you still don't understand it. So I got to bring it down. You still don't understand how much money they're making, because you will make up the excuse of whatever excuse you want to make for these people, and that's what we do for these people we don't even know. That's how much we're into them and trust them. We make up all these excuses for these people. That's crazy. So the big day comes, you retire, and you got hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. House paid off, car paid off. You get Social Security. You get 401k. You getting a pension. This is a dream retirement, folks. You did all you could do. There's nothing else to do. It's time to retire. And guess what? You got to go back to work. You have to go back to work. Nobody knows why, but you have to go back to work after your big retirement. It makes no sense to me at all. It makes no sense at all. How does that make any sense? Let me know. How does that make any sense? Well, there's people, they're going to make up excuses. Those are the people. We can make up excuses for everything. We learned that when we were children. We come up with all kinds of excuses, right? Because we don't want to face the facts. So that's what these guys do. They haven't shown me anything different than what I think, that they don't make this kind of money. The MLB uses the Latinos in the Caribbean League for cheap labor, and then they bring them up to the major leagues. So you're trying to tell me in just about every industry, they bring in people to do cheap labor and basically don't pay them ish, and then they move on to bigger and better things. We already know that they're not going to keep working for the same money, and then you got to replace them and get more people to work for cheap labor. So it's just interesting to me that this wouldn't be the case for the NBA, because they basically did the same thing that the MLB did, which was replace Americans with international players. And the MLB start doing it for cheap labor. So it will be head scratching that the NBA isn't doing the same, folks. And being that these guys are more skilled, they're not selling the game. Why would these guys get these crazy contracts? And that's another thing. You're trying to tell me that that's the bottom line, really. What I'm going to say, you're trying to tell me the least watched era of all time. Nobody cares about this stuff. They're just like beside themselves what they're going to do in the future with this league. It's basically getting MLB ratings. I don't know if it's getting that yet. It's getting something close, but it's gravitating towards MLB ratings. These guys don't show up to work. They're basically less skilled. They don't have any, for real, from the front court to the back court, they're less skilled because all they do is shoot the three. So they do less. You're making less money on viewership. And trust me, they're not selling merch like that, folks. They're not selling merch. If people's not interested in your game, they're not interested in your merch like that. So they're losing money all across the board. Look at ESPN. They don't have to fire all the good analysts. Fox got rid of some good people. Disney that owns both of them. To me, I keep telling you guys, these aren't real refs and these aren't real real head coaches. And we can get into that if you want. I mean, they're not real head coaches. We saw how, they can get this by the young people. But they can't get this past the older people. Can't get this past older people. What referees were and what coaches were. They can't get this. And what NBA players were too, were also. And it all falls in line, folks. And how they changed the NBA into a script. It's like a script in front of your face. LeBron was the next to take the torch from Kobe Bryant. But once he did it, the torch wasn't passed to him for doing it the right way. It became a league built off of shenanigans. And just off of him. And, ESPN said, well, we're not going to be able to get, what Kobe did or Jordan did or what Larry Bird did or these past guys. LeBron James just isn't that guy. So we'll just have all these debate groups and we'll debate his, I don't know what you want to call it, lack of skills, lack of greatness. They should have been trashing that guy as soon as he went to the super team. You're out of the GOAT debate. You're out. You're gone. You can't be a number one amongst other number ones and winning championships and think you're the face of the team. It don't work like that, folks, in your prime. This wasn't Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon and Drexler pairing up. This wasn't that, folks. This was a dude in his prime. All of them was in their prime, came through the same draft. What was 1, 2, 3 or one top 4? This is crazy. So that should have been over right there. But no, they kept it going because ESPN, they already had the rights to the NBA. They do that. This goes back to everything is connected, folks. When this guy went to the finals in 2007, nobody wanted to see this guy. The league was already falling off. This ain't nothing new that the league it ain't getting a viewership now. It isn't selling like it used to. This happened with this. Nobody wanted to see this guy, folks. The least watched NBA finals in NBA history. Tell me Michael Jordan would have accomplished that playing against Tim Duncan. Look at the ratings he pulled against the plumbing crew that you guys like to say, Utah. Look at the ratings he pulled. Incredible. And you have no excuse. Oh man, people was watching it on this and that. No, this was 2007, folks. This was the king. This was the most hyped player of all time. More than Will, more than Bird, more than Jordan, more than Kareem, more than Hakeem. That's what you guys say. And that's what I'm talking about. You guys believe these lies. It's okay to think sometimes. Nobody was interested in this guy. He doesn't have anything on the court that you're like, whoa. Dunks and layups. While bull charging the lane, it might seem exciting. But it wasn't to real basketball fans back then. Because we done seen the best. We know what an overall game is, folks. We know that. But yeah, it started back then in 2007, folks. And he got swept. So everybody, not only did nobody watch it, they already knew this guy was trash. Or he wasn't what people was promoting him to be. So the league was already going down. I mean, some of this stuff that they actually tell you guys makes no sense. We're going to give this guy a $100 million Nike contract coming into the league. Based off of what? So now the NBA and, ESPN, they all in bed together to hype this guy up more than what he is. He ain't got to earn nothing. He ain't got to show you no overall skill set, nothing. So it's just selling an image. That's it. He didn't make this kind of money. They have to sell his image. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make this kind of money on his game. They're selling you an image. After he built that super team in Miami, it was wrong. He cheated. He did it the wrong way. He quit, and they still sold you his image. And then he got manhandled. And what happened? They didn't say, okay, let's move on to somebody else. Nope, they kept selling this guy's image. They didn't say, oh, we were wrong. We seen what he was doing was wrong, but we gave him the benefit of the doubt for, the whole entire damn league having to play his super team. Nope, they went on to, what's he gonna do? Where he gonna go? This is money, folks. Their league is dying. They don't, and look, they don't even care because they already knew the on-court play. Most of these players in the 2000s, the people were saying, we don't care. These ain't the same guys. Why do you think Michael Jordan came back? Because he was sick. He was like, man, these guys don't want to even give no effort. They don't want to really play positional back. These ain't the same guys that was in the past decades. So again, he does it again. They promote it. They have to promote this stuff because their league ain't selling like that no more. And ESPN, they're goons. They bought the rights to the NBA. They have to promote this stuff. They have to make their money back. So they're promoting a lie. A lie, folks. And that's what the players got to go along with it. They got to go along with it. They can't say nothing. That's how they get paid. So all I'm trying to say, folks, is there's nothing to warrant these guys making this kind of money in the first place. And I try to compare it to like a regular workplace. The company is going down because of the employees. So what do? Your boss comes to you and rewards you with more money? How does that work? How does that work? All the employees, the company is going down because of the employees. So what do they do next year? They come to the employees and say, here's record-breaking money, contracts, whatever, pay raises. It makes... And they want me to believe this. This is what I'm saying, folks. They want me to believe this. But also, they want me to believe these guys have to go back to work after they retire for making hundreds of millions and tens of millions. For some reason, they're not like you and me, folks. They just can't go enjoy their lives. They have to go to work. They have to go coach. They have to go sit on the desk and read from a script. They have to do all this stuff. They can't enjoy their lives like you or me would if we retire with tens of millions or hundreds of millions. And it's just not that, folks, because you can rebut that. You can literally rebut that and say, well, man, maybe that's what they like to do. Okay, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is they don't deserve this kind of money. Especially these guys today. Or the 210s. They put nothing into it. They don't have skills on every level like the guys had in the past. They don't play hard. They don't work hard. The viewership, nobody wants to see it. So back to what he was saying. And I love one quote from Perk. When he was with the beef with LeBron James, I guess LeBron took him off of, I don't know, one of them X or whatever like that. I guess he took him off because he was telling it to LeBron like it was. Imagine that if he ever told it to LeBron like it was. Imagine how that would work. You won't have to worry about not being friends with LeBron. You would have to worry about not having a job at ESPN. But he goes on to say, oh man, I'm not worried about, LeBron getting mad and all this stuff, man. And, I got a job to do, man. Ain't nobody gonna stop me from having my job. He said something like that. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I need my job and all this stuff. Ain't nobody gonna stop Perk from putting on makeup, reading from a script and lying. He needs his job, man. After making tens of millions of dollars, like we were told, right? He really needs his job. He can't enjoy the rest of his life with his tens of millions. He needs his job on ESPN, reading from a script, putting on makeup, and basically lying. That's all these guys do is lie. So you got to wake up. When you work for these networks, and not only put on makeup and read from a script, you have to lie. Imagine when a camera cuts off. These guys say, we got these dudes. They actually believe what we're saying. When the camera cuts off, JJ Redick says these dummies actually believe what we're saying. When the camera cuts off, all this dribble that Reggie Miller says and Doris Burke and all these dummies that say this stuff about LeBron James and all these players today about how they're so great and blah, 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 and we've never seen nothing like it. Imagine when the camera turns off, they are laughing. They don't believe anything they say. When the camera cuts off of Gilbert Arenas, he's laughing. He doesn't believe anything he says. But guess what? Just like how the world is ran, you have to lie to make money. You have to lie to make money. And that's what these guys do. They lie to make money. So anyways, getting to what he said about them getting this $1 million bonus for playing in the play-in or winning the play-in or winning this all-star tournament. Them getting a $1 million bonus. And he says, what you're saying, it doesn't make any sense. Because that would be like a guy that works in the stock market and he makes millions and then he gets a $1 million bonus. And that would be true to a degree, what he's saying. A lot of stuff that, will make sense to me might not make sense to you. And a lot of stuff that makes sense to you, it's vice versa. But what I'm trying to explain is the overall landscape of things. It just ain't that all-star game. It's just everything I explained. Their actions don't speak to, they really make this kind of money. And when we talk about the all-star game, this is a game that, first of all, why do they keep continuing to tell us how much money these guys make? I don't understand it. Why do they keep continuing to tell us how much these guys make? And people would say, oh man, it's a value thing and all that stuff, but it's gonna came down to this. They're telling us how much they're gonna make for winning a tournament. What value is that? What value? It doesn't make any sense. So the all-star game is the all-star game. These were supposed to be the best players in the league that year, which is, to me, it could be a questionable thing too, right? Because you're only playing half the damn year. You see how the NFL does it at the end of the year? The Pro Bowl thing? Maybe they should do that for the NBA at the end of the year or right before the NBA finals, and then some guys, they might have to sit out. They might say, injury, whatever. But it is what it is. These guys, I think they would give more effort. We done seen guys like LeBron James right after the All-Star game, he sits out for a few weeks. It's ridiculous. Or some of those guys get named in All-Star, they don't even show up. This is only in the LeBron era. And you guys want me to believe these guys make this kind of money? And that's the thing too. They don't come to work. You don't come to work. Well, let me finish this and then we can talk about that. So you need to give these guys $1 million to play. These guys make tens of millions and hundreds of millions. So you're going to give them $1 million for effort. First of all, this money should be going to a charity, which I really don't dig charities neither when you look into them. But this money should be going to something like that. But you're going to give them $1 million for effort. How does that work, folks? If they win the tournament, $1 million for effort. That's basically what they're paying for. To put effort into the game. But you get paid tens of millions and hundreds of millions. So again, after you tax that million and break it down, it's total paper money to them. If they make tens of millions and hundreds of millions. It's nothing, folks. It's nothing. Just like I said, if they made tens of millions and hundreds of millions over their 10-year, 12-year, 5-year, whatever it is that they were in the NBA, how much money could ESPN actually pay you? What's the money? How much money could they actually pay you after that to sit on the desk, read from a script, and lie? If you made that kind of money that we've been told you make, how much money could they really pay you after that? Come on. And they're not even paying people top money anymore. You already seen that. So you rather sit on the desk and put on makeup and do all these things at ESPN, or you rather take your tens of millions and hundreds of millions and invest in your own businesses and maybe stocks, whatever, and enjoy your life? Because you just retired after all the years from doing this. So what they do doesn't add up to what they're saying. So again, $1 million ain't nothing when you break it down. And when you look at the overall picture of what we've been told they make. But if you don't make that kind of money, and look, I'm not trying to say they don't make millions. I believe they make millions. I just don't believe they make the money we've been told. I think this is, the NBA just, I don't know the word, but I just think the NBA overdoes it in some type of way to say, okay, take this guy makes $60 million a year based on whatever contract. I think they just come out with these numbers based on something we don't know about, that they got some way up in the NBA literature. I'm not sure, but I'm just telling you these guys' actions, right? And of course, they're going to use these numbers for the price of popcorn, tickets, merch, alcohol, everything. If we put these numbers out here, this is what we can charge the people for these things. But yes, I do think these guys make millions, but I don't think these guys make anything close to what we've been told. But like I said, if they don't make this kind of money, now you can see the things they do, right? Not wanting to play. I don't make this money anyways. I got the right not to play. Because if you make this kind of money, right, and your league is dying, we'll talk about that in a minute. But these type of things, like I said, will warrant you not to play. That you don't make this kind of, so you're sitting out. You going to work after you retire is warranting you is something. Now we can say I don't think these guys made this kind of money. I don't care on what level of working, coaching, sitting at a damn desk, podcasting, all this stuff that these guys do. A color analyst, all this stuff. Selling coffee. I mean, these guys be doing some incredible things, folks, that don't sound like businessman decisions. People who have tens of millions and hundreds of millions. This don't sound like businessman decisions that these guys, should be carrying themselves in or with or as when they retire. Right. So if you don't make this kind of money in your contracts that we've been told, $1 million is something. That's money. But it's not money if you make hundreds of millions or tens of millions, like we've been told. It's not nothing. It's great to the average man. It's great money. But again, if somebody hands you $1 million to be taxed, and it gets taxed, it's gonna break your heart. When you see how much money you get back, you're gonna want to throw up. You're gonna want to throw up. So when I say $1 million, to them ain't nothing. It's nothing to them if they're making the kind of money we've been told. Now, let me say this: if they're making this kind of money, guess what, folks? The NBA first, and then the players second, are stealing from the fans. Let me give it to you one more time. We'll talk about the Trump thing in another video, because you guys know how I go on, and I like to explain myself. This ain't Gilbert Arenas' podcast where he could just say some ish or somebody else. I like to explain because you might catch one of my videos and I might say something and I tell you I explain another time, and I'm not going to break it down in this video. But I always say, if you on my channel and you listen to me, you know what I'm saying. But again, if the players are making this money, then guess what? The organization and the players, and I guess you could say the NBA in general, is stealing from the fans. They don't show up to work, folks. They don't come to work. So you're charging me all this money for popcorn, parking, hot dogs, merch, alcohol, and the players aren't showing up. They're not showing up to work. And you would think you wouldn't even want this type of stuff when the viewership is going down the drain, because nobody wants to watch these guys, because they're not exciting. Even when they're on the court, they're not exciting. But because they're not even on the court, you're stealing from the fans. You're not? You're stealing from the fans. I mean, I don't know how to say this, but you're stealing from the fans by not showing up to work. And this is what I mean when I say you got to give these guys $1 million to show up to work. I mean, to compete in an all-star game. You should want to do this for the fans. Nope. They're not getting $1 million for, giving effort for the fans. They're getting $1 million to put in their pocket, because I don't think they make this kind of money. And I think because they don't make this kind of money, they're not giving the effort. But again, if they're making this kind of money, they're stealing from the fans. The owners are stealing from the fans. They're not coming to no press conferences and saying, we're sorry, we apologize, I can't believe these guys are doing this, we're going to do things, we're going to talk to these guys, we're going to talk to the trainers, we're going to slow down this game, we're going to do this to try to make these things better, because we're paying these guys astronomical contracts, and the NBA fans are paying all this money. You got to get that out of your head, that the owners are paying these guys. This is a script that they want to tell you on TV. Oh, the owners make all this money, the players should be making this money. How the hell? The owners don't pay these guys. The owners don't say, oh, I like the way these guys play, man. I'm paying these guys out of my pocket. Fans, you guys come in for free. No, the fans pay for this stuff, folks. That's why the NBA is where it is, because the fans told us, or told them a long time ago, this is garbage. Starting with LeBron's 2007 ratings in the finals. This is garbage. They can lie to you on TV and create debate groups, all this stuff, folks. All this stuff. But the people who knew basketball, knows basketball, they said this is garbage. And has said this is garbage over the years. And what happens? They tell you, even though the fans say this is garbage, they're going to take the fans' money, what's left of the fans, and give these guys record-breaking astronomical contracts. We just said this is garbage. You didn't say, they didn't say they're going to fix the garbage. They just continued for the garbage to get worse. The garbage just piled up. The garbage didn't get taken out. They just kept piling it up. Now it's stinky, leaking, toxic, everything. They just keep stacking garbage on top of garbage. But the NBA says, oh, this garbage doesn't smell. We're going to give these guys record-breaking contracts. I'm trying to get you guys to understand this. Like I said, when we talk about sports, I don't have to come with stats. I can come with the history of the NBA. We can make up excuses to feel good. And what would you feel good about if you made an excuse about this? You might feel hurt. Man, they've been lying to us. How would they get away with this? But if they're not making this kind of money, woo-wee, what I said at the beginning, it will be, this will be big, folks. So you would never find this out anyways. But I'm just saying, if they're not making this kind of money, woo-wee, woo-wee, somebody's stealing. Somebody's stealing. You're telling us these guys make this kind of money. I won't even go down that route, folks. It's just stealing. It's just stealing. And either way, you want to take it. For me, they're stealing anyways. Whether you're lying about the money or you're really giving them the money. You're literally stealing from the fans. Because if you're giving them this money, how are you giving them this money? And you're not even, to me, what effort are they giving? What viewership is it getting? It's a dying product. What will warrant them getting this kind of money? I just don't know, folks. It's kind of like a thing. You hear this out here, and you hear these things. I don't know if you heard it, but they tell people, and I've heard this: if these people don't do these jobs, well, sometimes, illegal immigrants, if they don't do these jobs, then this is what the owners or the people who own the company, they said, if they don't do these jobs, then the prices of goods or whatever they're doing will go up. So you'll pay more. So basically what they're trying to tell you is, if they put Americans to do the job, Americans going to want more. Maybe something like, insurance, workman's comp, hourly pay, maybe overtime. The American way. Or what we thought was the American way. I mean, that might sound like, okay, if you give an American, or put the American on the job, the prices will go up because of that. It's a lot, folks. Because if the American is working, first of all, he's putting money into the economy, putting money into Social Security through taxes, and put money in the economy by buying things on top of that. These people ain't putting no money in the economy. First of all, they're sending most of the money back home. Second of all, they're not making no money. They're not getting insurance. They're not getting Social Security. They're not getting workman's comp. They're getting paid by the job or getting paid by the day. So they're not putting no money into the economy, folks. And then second of all, the prices are still high. So the prices never go down. Where do you see prices going down or ever go down because somebody else is doing? No, the whole thing is just a lie. It's a business move. These guys are making more money off of these people because they're not paying them nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I'm just comparing that to the NBA. They can tell us these guys are making this money to put more money in their pocket, but they really don't have. I don't think they have this kind of money to pay them. I just don't. They don't. Business. And I don't know if that's going to answer his question. And you don't have to believe it. And most won't, because it's something, it's just, you just wouldn't want to believe it. And most of these, like I said, sports channels, they will never say nothing like this, folks, because of YouTube. I said something about ESPN and Fox and Disney a long time ago, and they made sure after that you ain't get no views. But that's okay. I don't do it for that. Because like I said, if it gets to 100 people, those are the 100 people that I think need to know the information. You don't need people on the channel fighting with you, calling you names, calling you all this stuff. I guess if you just need to make money for views, you don't need people on your channel that's closed-minded and all this stuff. See, when you come to my channel, I don't think I'm on here talking to the audience. That's how some people feel like, when they're on the channel, they're talking to an audience, like, they're sitting at a desk, like, and it's scripted and all this stuff you're putting on a show. No, I feel like I'm talking to my subs one-on-one individually as a person. And you can tell I don't read from a script. I don't have to. And some people do, and that's fine. Because they want to make a certain channel, certain platform, and that's fine. But I speak in reality. That's it. It ain't some character or nothing like that, or something trying to prove something. Everything is connected. We want the NBA to be great. But for some reason, these guys just don't have what other past players had. They just don't have it, man. And the viewership spoke a long time ago. The NFL was, we don't think the NFL was as good as it used to be. We really don't think that, but it's still great to watch because they give effort. They play positional ball. They do what they can. You know what I'm saying? These players today, they don't have, nobody wants to watch this crap, folks. That's just the truth of it. And I don't know what to tell you. But they're telling you a dying league that nobody is watching. They're just handing over money. That's crazy. And these networks are signing record-breaking contracts. The ESPNs and all these people to run to something that nobody is watching. How ludicrous is that? So, tell me what you think.